Hey, what's happening people? Woodsy Workout here, back with another video coming off the biggest Hyrox event so far. We are talking London Hyrox, what went down, how did my race go, and how to conquer the mental side of racing. So firstly, I wanted to give my initial thoughts on the event. I'll touch on how my race went, but also try and give you some good takeaways from what I learned and address the psychology around racing. So I thought the event as a whole was awesome. The atmosphere was amazing. The whole place was buzzing from start to finish, and everyone was so supportive. It was really, really nice hearing from so many people about what these videos helped them do, and I didn't really know that I was reaching so many people, so it was a really nice feeling. It really means a lot to me, so thank you for all of those who came and said hello. Now, getting into some more technical talk, I think Hyrox is really hitting their stride now, and they've been listening to some of the feedback and addressing a few of the issues that they've had with some of the opening events. So I think there are still a few things to improve upon, but from the responses that they've made so far, I'm hopeful that they'll continue to be able to fix and address some of these. So firstly, there was a ton of volunteers, and I want to give a big shout out to everyone that helped the event run. I know in Birmingham, they struggled a little bit with numbers, and it made it hard to keep the regulations. So big improvement there. Thank you if you volunteered to help out. And from what I heard, the judging standards were stricter. They were pulling people up on movements, especially like with the burpees, which is good. I know I had eyes on me the whole time, and I was happy to not have any missed reps. So, but it means, but being stricter means it's going to be fair for everyone and standardized across events. So that's something we kind of do want to work towards. And speaking of which, we do have to address the sleds. So I think it's great now that we have the same sleds across all events all over the world. And from the results so far, I think it has improved like the overall averages. The time spent on the sleds and the time overall are a lot closer from like the Americans to the Europeans. But now I think we really need to focus on the carpet, and I think a lot of people kind of share the same opinion. I know my sled push was far harder in Birmingham than in London because of like the movement of the carpet, bunching up, and going over lumps and bumps. So I know a lot of people have said the same thing, and I think it's certain lanes were worse than others, and I think with such a big event and constant racing all day, like quite literally blood, sweat and tears were soaked up into that carpet. So hopefully just mostly sweat, but I think it's kind of the wear and tear over the day makes it loose, and it makes it a major factor. And I think it's one of the last big things that they can clean up to really standardize it. And I mean, I know it's probably easier said than done, but there has to be a better way of kind of like fixing it to the ground. So yeah, overall, I don't think it was a fast course as such. I spoke to a couple of the top guys who ran solid races, but didn't get their fastest times. But that's not a big sample size, and I may be biased because I know I didn't get my fastest time. So, but I thought the running track was nice. No harsh corners and less crowding at the entrance and exits than it was in like Birmingham. But the rock zone was quite big, and the exits and entrance to the stations I don't think were quite optimal, a little bit confusing. So that's just my thoughts overall on the race and the race venue. I raced in the pro division, which I know is not as busy as the open and the doubles, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on how you found it at different times, and yeah, do you think they coped with the number of people, or is there still stuff that they need to work on? So on to how my race went. I'm just going to share this quick clip with you of my immediate thoughts after the race, and then I'll go over my kind of reflections on how it went. So the race was tough as ever. I planned to go out a little bit more aggressive than I did in Birmingham, do the runs a bit harder, try and go a little easier on the stations, but the sleds today they weren't in my favour. There was sled push particularly difficult, and it didn't allow me to it put me in trouble early. 2 minutes slower. I think it was a tough course. All of the people I spoke to said they definitely found it tough, but not to make any excuses. It was a good race, and I gave it everything, really. So yeah, this sled was harder than I was prepared for, and I was taking longer, so I took a minute longer on the sled, and I came out just as taxed, if not more, than I did in previous races. So I knew I was kind of in trouble early, and then it was a real physical and mostly mental battle to get back into the race, and that's kind of what I want to expand upon and give some advice on what helped me get back into it, and I think also what can apply to training and racing, and just general life in terms of psychology around sport. So a little bit of background on me. I studied sports psychology at university, and I still research a lot of ideologies around mindset and as it applies to sport and competition. But because psychology can be very intangible, it's hard to get across, and I find a lot of people will throw like buzzwords like grit and mental toughness without like anchoring them to real situations. So I think someone that I find makes it very clear, and has I've taken a lot from, is CrossFit coach Ben Bergeron. He speaks very well on the levels of mindset and how your perspective can change your emotions, how your emotions can control your thoughts, and then your thoughts control your actions. So so at the very lowest form, we got what we call the victim mindset, which is lowest form of mindset. This is the like, why always me attitude. I got a bum sled because the world is conspiring against me and doesn't want me to have a good time. It's everyone else's fault and there's nothing that I can do about it. But if you feel that way, then you won't do anything about it, and you won't end up doing very well. So and then we have a stage above that, which is the pessimistic mindset. This is the like, this sucks, but not necessarily it's anyone's fault, or making excuses, but oh my God, this is horrible, and I'm only on the first station, I've got lunges and wall balls, and they are also gonna suck. So yeah, that's the kind of pessimistic mindset that doesn't lead to optimal performance. The sort of level above that is the optimist. The optimist is, you may think it's the top because of the positive mindset, has a lot of benefits to your actions, but the optimist lacks bracing. So the thoughts are like, I'm gonna have a good race, and then you get tripped up, and then you think that that's okay, everything else is gonna go perfect. And then you get a bunch of no reps, and you think, well, that's okay, everything else will be okay, and then you finally get to the finish line and your time's not what you wanted, and the bubble pops, and you're crushed because you lack the ability to respond to the adversity and the situations that are arising. Adversity is inevitable, and when it comes to racing, there is never going to be a perfect race. Things are going to happen that don't go your way. Ignoring them and believing that it will isn't the best way to help your performance. The fourth stage is the realist, and the realist understands that there's no good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So imagine you're running past the lap screen and you see a penalty pop up. Like 3-minute penalty right there, and then nothing has changed about your physical capabilities. You're no more tired or less fit, yet in that moment when that penalty pops up, if you think that is a bad thing and you perceive it really negatively, you will go slower. And the ability to have hindsight in the present moment and roll with the punches and not let it affect your game is something we should all aspire towards. And then there's one level above the realist, and this can be labeled the warrior mindset or the curious competitor. And the warrior mindset is the seeking out of challenges. They don't just recognize that everything will go their way. They look to put themselves in places of adversity because that is the fastest way to growth. If you don't want the person ahead of you to do well so that you can get an easy win, you will not continue to succeed. The warrior mindset is wanting worthy competition because win or lose, it forces you to do better. Now, all of this being said, it becomes quite clear and obvious how you should respond, but it's in the moment when the trigger rises, how quickly you can process and choose the right response. So you get that no rep that you know was clean, and then that's the trigger. How quickly can you go from why me, negative victim mindset, to that sucks, pessimist, to well, it's not that bad, optimist, to okay, the judging is strict, realist, to good. The judging is strict. I need to make sure every rep is super clean, and this is going to push me to improve my game. Warrior mindset. And it's not easy, and it's a constant pursuit, but it can be applied to every situation in life. Like you get cut off in traffic, you lose your job, you get sick. And that's why I love sport and competition, because it reflects what is happening in life, and it can shape you to be a better person and make better decisions. So I know that's a bit deep, deeper than the normal woodsy workout tips, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on if you found this useful, how London went for you, or if you raced somewhere else. I know Dallas and Hong Kong. What was that like? I'd love to hear about that. And I will also be releasing a Hyrox training principles guide very soon, as well as a 10-week training program. So look out for those coming very soon. I'm doing in-person and online coaching, as well as courses and group classes at Healf in Chalfont St Giles. So if you're in South Bucks area, come and say hello. You can find everything at coactivehealth.uk/performance, and you can reach out for me or for anything on Instagram at Woodsy Workout, where I post plenty more tips and tricks on all things health and fitness. Until then, I will see you next time.